everyone, it's Affy, and today I am here to do the top of the trope tag. This tag was created by B at Mama Needs to Read Romance, and she invited me to do this tag. I am basically going to go through different tropes and suggest books that I like for that trope. So the first trope I have is enemies to lovers, and I have 3 books for this trope. The first one that I have here is Sherry Thomas. This is Tempting the Bride. In this book, we have a hero and heroine who have known each other since they were teenagers. He has always been in love with her, but she never really had an interest in him, and so his way of getting her attention was to basically pester the ever-living shit out of her and annoy her into oblivion. And so she basically hates his guts now. They're grown and he annoys her all the time. This book has great banter, just great banter. But she ends up in a situation where he has to save her by pretending to be engaged with one another. And then she has an accident and she loses her memory and she can't remember when they met, and so he takes it as an opportunity to basically start over with her. This one is really sweet. He's actually a very, very wonderful man when he's not pestering the crap out of her. The next book that I have for enemies to lovers is by Lorraine Heath. This is Between the Devil and Desire. And this has a step back on the back there. In this book, we have Jack Dodger, who is the owner of a gaming den, and Olivia, who is the widow of a duke, so she's a duchess. And Olivia finds out that her husband, who is now passed, has left all of his money and also custody of her son to a man named Jack Dodger, who she does not know, and she's basically like, what the hell? So Jack comes into her life and she is absolutely livid with him. She's like, I don't know who you are, I don't know why you're here, but you do not get to take custody of my son. Just out of nowhere, like that's not happening. And so she basically just throws everything she has at this man, and he throws it back at her. And so this book was a lot in the beginning. They were fighting like cats and dogs. Like I was actually on edge sometimes when they would have conversations with each other, just because it was like, oh my god, they are really going at it. So this one was a great enemies to lovers. I enjoyed myself with this one. It had me on pins and needles. So to me that's a good enemies to lovers romance. The last enemies to lovers romance that I have is by Loretta Chase. You've probably heard of this one. This is Lord of Scoundrels. This book is a classic, and for good reason. Jessica and Dane are basically the quintessential enemies to lovers. Jessica has a younger brother who is he's very easily manipulated by people. Dane is a very popular man. He is well known for basically just being a scoundrel, and Jessica's little brother just follows him around like a little puppy dog, and he's getting himself in all this trouble, and so Jessica decides that she is going to intervene, and her and Dane come toe-to-toe with one another, and it is glorious. This book is so good. It's also very, very funny, and I love these two characters. They are both very, very strong-willed people. And Dane is hard-headed, and Jessica is even more hard-headed than he is. So it's the whole brick wall and force of nature sort of thing, like who's gonna give in first. And it's glorious. I really, really love this book. The next trope that I have is friends to lovers, and I have 2 books for friends to lovers. The first one is by Eloisa James. This is The Ugly Duchess. And this has a step back. In this book, we have a couple who have known each other since they were children. They have grown up as friends. The heroine is basically the ward of the hero's dad. So they've definitely grown up with one another and have become good friends over the years. And when his father realizes that they are running out of money, he basically tells his son, I need you to marry her because she's got a really big dowry and we need her money. And at first the son is basically like, I can't do that. Like, that's messed up. And not only that, like, we're really good friends. I don't know that I feel right about it. But his dad convinces him, and so he basically finds a way to convince her to marry him. And things are going great for a while. They actually start to realize that they do have feelings for one another. And then she finds out that he basically asked her to marry him under messed up pretenses. And she gets very upset, and they separate for a while. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot. I don't know what the Ugly Duckling story is about. I've never actually read the fairy tale itself, so I don't really know what the story entails. But this was a lot. Like, it was a lot. The second book that I have for friends to lovers is by Julia Quinn. This is When He Was Wicked. This is part of the Bridgerton series. We have a step back here. In this book, we have Francesca Bridgerton and Michael Sterling. And Michael Sterling is the cousin of Francesca's husband. When her husband dies, they have been friends for years, and he has been in love with her this entire time. He originally kind of runs away and is basically like, I don't know what to do about this situation. But when he comes back, he decides that he's going to take a chance and try and be with Francesca. This one was amazing. This was my favorite book out of the entire Bridgerton series. There's just something about this one that feels a little different. Their romance just feels, they just feel more connected with one another, and I don't know if it's because of the friends aspect of it, but this one is just a really beautiful story. So I really, really love this book. The next trope is fake relationship, and the book I chose for this trope is by Vivian Lorette. This is The Road to Ruin. And in this book, we have a matchmaker and her neighbor who happens to be the owner of a gambling den. His business is right across the street from her business, and they do not get along because of the fact that his business is always kind of loitering and just making things messy around her business, and all the people coming and going, the drunkards and the carriages and stuff. It doesn't help her business, and so she's never really liked him very much. One day she gets a visit from her former fiance who wants her back, but our hero happens to show up in the middle of this visit, and she lies and tells her former fiance that the hero is her current fiance, and they end up stuck in a fake engagement with one another. And this one is interesting. I really ended up liking this one. The next trope is second chance romance, and for this one I have one book, which is an amazing book. This is Sarah McLean. This is The Day of the Duchess, and this has a step back. In this book, we have a heroine and a hero who are married, and the heroine found basically some underhanded ways to get the hero to marry her. They had been talking for a while, but he hadn't pulled the trigger and asked her to marry him. And so she finally basically did what she had to do and made sure that they got caught with one another, having relations. And so he's been upset with her ever since they got married, and he basically treats her like shit. And so she finally decides that she's had enough and she runs away. And for 3 years she's missing, and he begins to realize his mistake. He wants his wife back. He can't find her. And when she finally shows back up, she wants a divorce. He does not want a divorce. He is basically begging this woman, please don't divorce me. But she's pretty adamant that she wants this divorce from him. And so he convinces her to stick around and help him find a replacement wife. And so she goes to his house in the country, and he basically parades these women around her and tells her, you know, pick a woman for me to marry once we're divorced. But his real reason is that he just wants to spend time with her. This was a beautiful story. This one gutted me. I ended up giving this one 6 stars. He really puts in the work to win this woman back, and I mean, she really, really makes him work for it. This woman was not playing with him, and he deserved it. He deserved it. So this book is one big, huge grovel session, basically, and he groveled hard. But I really, really love this one. And yeah, it's my second chance romance pick. The next trope that I have is workplace romance, and for this one, I have Lorraine Heath's The Duchess Hunt. In this book, we have a duke who has a secretary working for him. Her name is Penelope Pettypiece. I just love her name. She has been in love with him ever since she started working for him, and he is on the hunt for a wife, and he has had Pettypiece, searching for a wife for him for like 2 years at this point. She's basically putting in all this work to help him find a wife whilst being deeply in love with this man, and it's basically their romance. He finally starts to wake up and realize there's something special about her, and he finally decides that he's going to take a chance and try and see what a relationship between the two of them might be like. This one was really, really good. I love Penny. She's very type A, which is why she's a secretary. She's very good at her job. But I really did enjoy this one. The next trope is forbidden love, and for this one I chose my favorite book of all time, which, if you know me, you already know, is A Scoundrel of Her Own by Stacey Reid. In this book, we have a young boy and a girl. He saves her from a carriage accident when they are children, and basically finds like a little home out in the woods for them to stay until somebody comes and finds them. He is the son of a farmer. She is the daughter of an earl. They basically are together in the woods for like a week, and he takes care of them, and it's really, really cute. They get married and decide that when they're adults they'll get married for real, and it's just a really, really beautiful, it's the sweetest prologue ever. And they're finally found, and she is being taken home. He basically yells after her, wait for me, don't forget me, wait for me. It's years later. She is a spinster. Her parents have told her, you know, wait out for love, we don't want to force you to marry anybody that you don't want to be with. And so when she and the hero find each other again and fall back in love, you would think her parents would be happy about it, but they are very, very prejudiced. And yeah, this is a huge class difference. Like I said, her parents are very, very prejudiced, and so this falls under the forbidden love trope. The next trope is childhood sweethearts, and for this one, I'm pretty sure anybody who's done a historical romance list has done this exact book for childhood sweethearts, but this is again The Magic by Lisa Kleypas. And in this one, we have a young couple. This is also kind of a forbidden love one as well. She is the daughter of an earl again, and he is a stable boy, and they have grown up playing together. Once they're teenagers, they fall in love with one another, and they obviously want to be with each other, but her father finds out about them and basically tells her, I'm going to ruin that young man. And so she goes to the hero and convinces him to leave by telling him that she never loved him. 12 years later, he comes back to England. He has been in America. He has become a rich man and a powerful man, and he is hell-bent on revenge. And this is their love story. This is also kind of a second chance romance when you think about it. But this one is so good. This was my favorite book of all time up until I read A Scoundrel of Her Own. But this is a really, really good one. This is a classic. A lot of people love this book, and for good reason. The next trope that I have is forced proximity, and I have 2 books for this one. The first one is by Sarah MacLean. This is The Rogue Not Taken. In this one, we have a heroine who basically gets herself in trouble. She's at a party, and she pushes a duke into a pond. In fact, this is the first book in the same series as The Day of the Duchess. So the duke that she pushes into the pond is the same one whose wife tries to divorce him in The Day of the Duchess. All of society shuns her. Like, everybody at the party basically turns away from her and refuses to speak to her. And so she's extremely embarrassed. She runs to a carriage. She's just trying to get away from this party. And she hops on the first carriage that she sees and ends up out in the countryside somewhere. And the owner of the carriage happens to be a young man. I believe he's an earl, and he sees her and is like, I don't know why you got on my carriage and made it all the way out here, but you are not my responsibility, and I will not be helping you make your way back home, so figure it out. And she tries, but she gets herself into some trouble, and he basically has to step in and save the day and help her make her way back home. So this is a road trip romance, and I really ended up loving this one. The second one that I have for forced proximity, this one is not necessarily a forced proximity necessarily, but they are in the same house. I'll explain. This is by Lisa Kleypas. This is Devil's Daughter. And we have a step back here. We have a hero and a heroine who are connected through the heroine's former husband or deceased husband. So the hero was actually the bully of her now deceased husband when they were children in school. And so she doesn't like him because obviously he treated her husband like shit when they were children. She does eventually get over it. Her land out in the country is not very profitable, and he knows a lot about farming and land management and things like that. And so she asked him to go basically come and help her figure out what she needs to do to make her land profitable. And while he stays there, things happen between the two of them. And like I said, it's not necessarily forced proximity, but they are in one another's proximity for quite a while. So it's proximity, forced or not. There's proximity. So this one was really, really good. The next trope I have here is soulmates, which I wasn't really sure how to pick for soulmates. It's kind of a hard one to pinpoint. So I just picked 2 books that gave me soulmate vibes. Like these people were just meant to be together. The first one I have is, this is a novella. This is Get Thee Off My Lawn. This is by Daria Vernon. And this one is really, really funny. So we have neighbors who both have swans. And the hero has a pond, and the heroine's swan decides to run away to the hero's pond. And so she goes to go collect her swan. She ends up falling in the pond. And she hears somebody chuckling and laughing at her, and she looks up, and it's the hero. They have been neighbors for years, but have never met one another. And he basically is like, do you need help? Like, I can help you out. You look like you need a bit of a shower there. And so he takes her to his home and gets her cleaned up. This was a very, very sexy novella. They can't stop thinking about one another. She is engaged to be married, and so there is an obstacle in their way, but that does not stop the hero from basically doing everything he can to be with this woman, including bawling his fucking eyes out. Like, he just he's a mess at one point. This one gave me soulmate vibes. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just a really, really good one. And they just kind of fell really, really hard for one another. I don't know how else to explain it. So the other book that I chose for soulmates is by Lisa Kleypas. This is Love in the Afternoon. In this one, we have a hero and heroine who have been writing one another. He does not know that she's the one writing to him. She has been writing to him in her friend's stead. Her friend basically decided that she was bored writing to this man, and so our heroine, Beatrix, basically takes over and starts writing to him. And they send these wonderful letters back and forth between each other. And then he sends a letter saying that he is falling in love with her. And she starts to feel bad because she knows that he thinks she's somebody else. And so she stops writing him. And then when he returns, he still thinks that she's somebody else. And so he connects with this woman that he thought he was writing to. And he starts to realize that there's no real connection there in person. And so he's like, I feel like I was writing to somebody else. And it's really, really cool when he finally becomes aware of Beatrix and the fact that she was the one writing to him. It all kind of clicks in his mind. He's like, oh my gosh, you're the woman I've been looking for this entire time. And it's so sweet. It's so stinking sweet. I love this book. They're so adorable together. And again, just gave me soulmate vibes. The way that they connected with one another via letter was just beautiful. The next trope is Opposites Attract, and for this one I have two books. The first one that I chose is Forever Your Rogue by Erin Langston. And in this book we have a type A heroine. She is recently widowed, and her husband had left custody of her two children to his sister and brother-in-law, and they are very unkind people, and they want to basically take her children away from her, and she is trying to do everything she can to prevent that from happening. And so she contacts Nate, who she kind of knew in the past. They had a flirtation, but nothing ever came of it. And she begs him. She's like, you owe me a favor, and I need somebody to basically pretend to be my fiance and help me get my children back. And he is very much, like it says, a rogue. He just kind of flies by the seat of his pants. He doesn't really pay attention to anything because he doesn't really have to. He just kind of lives his life and does his own thing and gets in trouble. They definitely have two very different personalities. She's very much a trying to be responsible adult, and he is the complete opposite. He's just so laid back and just kind of living loose and free. So these two are very much opposites attract. The other book that I have here for opposites attract is The Temptation of a Highlander by Alyssa Braden. In this one, we have a heroine who is visiting Scotland. She has a stalker, and her hopes is that she can go to Scotland and her stalker will basically not be able to find her. But unfortunately he does. He finds her while she's there. But they tell her, our brother Campbell can basically watch out for you. He can be your bodyguard. If you need somebody to take care of you, like, he's the person to do it. And so she goes and stays with Campbell at his home, which it's way out in the boonies somewhere. So you're thinking the stalker is not going to find her because they're so far out in the boonies. But this one is a opposites attract because he is very much this is kind of a grumpy sunshine in a lot of ways, although he's not necessarily a grump. He's just very quiet and kind of keeps to himself. He can be kind of gruff, I'll say that. He can be gruff, but he's not he's not the grumbly sort. He's just kind of quiet and tough. We'll say he's on the quiet side and he's tough. And she is on the opposite spectrum. She talks a lot, and she's just really funny because she makes all these weird, like, sexual statements and double entendres and can't seem to help herself. She's just goofy, and together they're a very interesting match. I really loved this book, and the suspense aspect of it was a lot of fun as well. There are two more tropes that I decided to add on my own, and that is Scottish Highlander and American. And so for Scottish Highlander, I have two books here. One is The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie. This is by Jennifer Ashley. And this is about the Mackenzie family, and our hero, Ian Mackenzie, is the youngest brother in the Mackenzie clan. He is autistic, and he is considered very mad by pretty much everyone. They think that he is just the oddest person ever, and people don't get him. He meets Beth, and he just thinks that she is the most fascinating person he's ever come across. And he also really wants to get up her skirts, so there's that as well. But there's just something about her, and he really wants her, and she finds him to be fascinating as well. And so it's their love story. This one is a lot of fun. The family aspect of it was really good. I love this series as a whole, the Mackenzies and McBride series. There are 4 brothers, I believe. And like I said, Ian is the youngest. And their romance is just, it's really, really good. Second one that I have for Scottish Highlander is Some Like It Scott. This is by Suzanne Enoch. And this book had me cracking up. So we have a Highlander and a Highland lass. One day he is going hunting, and the deer that he's hunting gets shot down by a woman. And he's like very curious because he's like, what is a woman doing out in the middle of nowhere hunting and wearing pants, because she's wearing pants. So he's very, very curious, and he goes to investigate, and it's their romance. These two are a very interesting couple. He's very much like a manly man. She is, in a lot of ways, she was kind of raised to be a boy, And so she can match his energy very, very well, and he doesn't really know what to do about that at first. But once this guy falls, he falls really, really hard, and I love this story. The last trope that I have here is American, and I have 2 books for this one. So the first one is by Beverly Jenkins. This is Wild Sweet Love. And in this book, we have Teresa July, who is a train robber. And she is caught, and she has been in jail for a while, but she has been put on parole. And during her parole, she has to stay with this woman who basically monitors her and makes sure that she stays on the straight and narrow. And this woman has a son, and her son and Teresa, they have somewhat of a contentious relationship. They don't get along very well at first. And she's a very, very strong-willed woman, and so he does not know what to make of her at first. He definitely starts to fall for her, and she falls for him, much to her chagrin. And this one was a really, really fun one. I enjoyed it so much, I ended up giving it 6 stars. So yeah, this was a really, really good story. The last book that I have here for the American trope is My American Duchess by Eloisa James. And in this book, we have a American woman who has been in England for a while now trying to find a husband, and she has been engaged 2 times already. And so she decides that the next time she gets engaged, she's gonna go through with it. She's gonna marry this person. She can't keep, basically breaking engagements. It's gonna make her look really bad. So she basically gets asked again to marry a man, and she decides, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna marry this guy. And then she goes out into the garden, and she starts talking to a man, and they connect. And she's like, oh my God, this man is amazing. And then she finds out that he is the brother of the man that she just decided to get engaged to. And so it is their romance. I haven't read it in a long time, but I do remember really, really enjoying this one. So that is all the tropes plus 2 that were given for the top of the trope tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a lot of fun to put together and record, so I want to say thank you to B. If you've made it to the end of the video, leave me a puppy emoji because Valentine is standing here looking at me all cute. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.